I never planned to stay in this town longer than a few weeks. I came because the rent was cheap and because I needed to disappear for a while. My name is Daniel Harris, and until 8 months ago, I lived a normal, forgettable life. The kind where nothing ever really happens. That changed the night I started seeing the same man standing at the bus stop outside my apartment. The town is called Red Hollow. It's the kind of place people drive through without noticing. One gas station, one grocery store, and a long, empty road that cuts straight through the woods. I rented a small basement apartment near that road because it was quiet and because I worked nights. The first time I saw him, it was just after midnight. I was driving home from work and slowed down at the bus stop because the light was flickering. There was a man standing there, tall, thin, hands buried deep in his jacket pockets. He wasn't waiting for a bus. No buses ran that late. He was just standing there, facing the woods, not moving. I remember thinking how strange it was that he didn't turn his head as my car passed, not even a glance. The next night he was there again, same position, same clothes, same stillness. I slowed down again, and this time I noticed something wrong. His shadow was facing the wrong direction. The streetlight behind him should have cast it toward the road, but it stretched back into the trees like it was being pulled. I told myself I was tired and went home. After that, I started noticing other things. The woods seemed closer than before. The trees looked darker, thicker, like they were leaning toward the road. Night sounds carried farther, leaves crunching, footsteps snapping twigs, but whenever I looked, there was nothing there. A week later, someone went missing. A college kid who stopped for gas and never made it out of town. The sheriff said he probably ran off, but people started whispering, especially about the road and the woods. That night, the man at the bus stop turned his head and looked directly at me. I can't explain what was wrong with his face, only that it felt unfinished, like someone had tried to copy a human from memory and missed important details. His eyes were too still, not blinking, not reacting, just watching. That was the night he followed me home. I knew because when I parked outside my apartment, I saw him standing across the street, half hidden between two trees, too far away to make sense, too close to feel safe. When I blinked, he was closer. I locked my door and sat in the dark with every light off, listening to my own breathing. Around 2:11 a.m., I heard a single knock on my window. One knock, then silence. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I asked my neighbor if he'd heard anything. He just stared at me and asked if I had seen the man yet. When I asked what man, he shut his door without answering. Over the next few weeks, things got worse. The forest started to feel aware, like it was watching. The man at the bus stop stopped appearing, but I began seeing him elsewhere, in reflections, in mirrors, in dark windows, always just behind me. Once I saw him standing in my living room when I woke up at 3 a.m., his outline barely visible against the darkness. He leaned forward slightly and whispered a sound, not a word, more like breath forced through something dry. When I turned on the light, he was gone, but my closet door was open. I stopped going outside at night. I stopped sleeping properly. I started documenting times, sounds, movements, anything that felt wrong. Every incident happened between 2:11 and 2:17 a.m. Always. Then one night, the knocking returned, not on the window, not the door, from inside the walls, moving slowly closer to my bedroom. I pressed myself into the corner, shaking, unable to scream. The voice spoke again, closer, clearer than before. It sounded like mine. It said he was tired of standing outside. The next morning, my reflection didn't move when I did. I smiled, and it smiled back a second late. I raised my hand, and it followed, but not exactly, like it was remembering how. I went to the sheriff. I begged him to look at my notes. He listened quietly, then locked his office door and told me something that finally broke me. He said Red Hollow wasn't a town. It was a holding place. The woods didn't surround the town. The town existed inside the woods. And the thing I was seeing was what happened when someone stayed too long. He told me everyone gets replaced, eventually. That night, I packed my bags and tried to leave. Every road looped. Every turn brought me back to the same intersection, the same flickering streetlight, the same bus stop. The man was there, waiting. He was smiling now. He stepped forward, and I felt myself stepping backward without moving. My body felt lighter, like it was already letting go. He told me I didn't need to be afraid. He said he'd been watching me learn, watching me slowly empty myself. He reached out and touched my shoulder. Everything went quiet. I woke up in the bus stop bench alone. The sun was rising. I felt calm, empty, peaceful. Weeks passed. People said I looked different, said I seemed distant. They asked if I was feeling okay. Sometimes I catch my reflection in glass, and it lags just a moment too long. But it always catches up now. I don't see the man anymore. Because I stand at the bus stop at night, and I watch, and I wait for the next one who thinks this town is just a place you pass through. I never planned to stay in this town longer than a few weeks. I came because the rent was cheap, and because I needed to disappear for a while. My name is Daniel Harris, and until